Good morning and welcome to the 22nd Annual Muskogee's Women's Leadership Conference. I'm Joyce Sloan with Green Country Behavioral Health Services, and I'm a Chamber Board member. We are so excited for this week with so many great speakers and networking events. I would like to start off by thanking our sponsors. We could not host this amazing week without them. Our presenting sponsor is Muskogee Creek Nation Casino. Our host sponsor is Indian Capital Technology Center. Our speaker sponsor is OG&E. Our other sponsors are First Star Bank, Green Country Behavioral Health Services, Georgia Pacific, Northeastern State University, Refresco, Connor State College, and Love Bottling. We are so excited to celebrate our 22nd Women's Leadership Conference. This conference started as an idea of two women that wanted to celebrate and educate women in business. Without their vision, we would not be where we are today and would not be able to meet some important women in each of our lives along the way. This week's speakers are sponsored by OG&E. I'm excited to welcome our first women's leadership speaker for the week, Dr. Angela Martindale. Dr. Angela Martindale is a leader, advocate, and lifelong believer in the power of resilience. Her journey has been shaped by overcoming adversity, embracing opportunities for growth, and remaining committed to serving others with compassion and purpose. Through determination, faith, and perseverance, she transforms challenges into stepping stones, ultimately earning her doctorate and building a career dedicated to improving the lives of individuals and communities. Today, Dr. Martindale serves as the Chief Performance Officer for Green Country Behavioral Health Services, where she leads initiatives focused on quality, innovation, and access to behavioral health care. She is passionate about empowering others to recognize their potential, find their voice, and lead with authenticity. Drawing from both her personal experiences and professional leadership journey, Dr. Martindale inspires others to pursue their goals boldly, embrace change, and remember that their past does not define their future. She believes that some of the strongest leaders are not those who have avoided struggle, but those who have learned to rise because of it. And I am honored with one of my sheroes, Dr. Angela Martindale.
Thank you, Joy. That was an awesome bio, and I appreciate that to my dear friend there. Welcome and good morning. I'm so excited about this week. I'm so excited about the speakers that are lined up. I'm excited about all the extra activities that we're going to be doing this week. So I hope to see you out there tomorrow night at the port, and then Wednesday morning at Queen City, and of course, our favorite leadership lunch on Thursday. So as Joyce said, I'm going to share my screen here, but I'm Angela Martindale, and I hope everybody can see this screen good on your end. Let me know in the chat or something if you guys have any problems seeing that. So I professionally serve as the Chief Performance Officer for Green Country Behavioral Health. It's a privilege to serve and work alongside amazing women who are passionate about mental health and passionate about improving the lives and mental health services within our community. But today I want you to know that I'm here speaking to you as a woman, as a wife, as a daughter, as a friend, as a granddaughter, and as a leader. I'm someone who understands what it feels like to have too many responsibilities, too many calendars, because we all have too many calendars, too many things going on, too many people depending on us. And sometimes we wonder where you fit in or where I fit in all of this and what it means to be living this life. I'm also someone who understands what it feels like to experience and take care of others in our lives, as well as being a leader and overcoming adversity. But a lot of this that I'm going to talk to you about today is not about being a leader, but being just a human and sharing that experience with others. I've learned that sometimes many of us will become experts in taking care of everyone else and quietly leaving us at the last of our list. And I hope today that I'm going to share things with you that you have heard before. People talk about this, they say the things. What I want to do today is give you permission to do the things, permission to take care of you first. And so that's what we're going to do today. I remember a season in my life when I thought that being strong meant saying yes to everything. I signed up for all the meetings, all the committees. If someone needed help, I was there. If there was another committee that needed a volunteer, or I needed to sign up to run for president for whatever organization I was a part of, guess what? I did it. I thought that's what I needed to do as a leader. I worked extra hours. One day I realized something, that I had become really, really good at caring for everyone else and doing all the other things out there in the world as a leader, but I left myself at the end of that list. Is there anybody out there that can relate to that? So why all this matters? Working in behavioral health, I spent a lot of time talking about mental wellness. And here's the thing about mental wellness. Mental wellness isn't something reserved for people in crisis or people who have severe mental illness. It's a responsibility for each and every one of us every single day. Especially women, especially leaders, especially caregivers. It's something that every one of us has to do intentionally. We have to intentionally protect our mental wellness. So today, I don't want to give you one more thing to add to your list. And I did give you all a list of 10 things, 10 daily reminders. I gave you a list. But here's the thing that I want you to know. That isn't a thing that I want you to put up somewhere and be like, here's a list of things that I need to do. This is that list to refer back to when it's just you driving home from a hard day of work and you're thinking about all the things that are still left to do. And it's just you and yourself, and you think, I can't do this anymore. This is when I want you to think back on those 10 things, those reminders. When you feel like I'm going to give up, I can't do another thing. I can't add another thing on my list. I can't deal with one more tragedy or one more project or one more death in the family. That's when I want you to pull out that list and know that there's a friend close by that can help you. Maybe it'll give you a little boost to get through to the next day, the next step. I want to give you permission. I want to give you permission to breathe, to rest, permission to set boundaries, permission to choose yourself sometimes. Because taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's leadership. Sometimes our hardest chapters often become the pages we help someone else to survive. So every one of us has faced something that made us question ourselves. When we hear the word adversity, we often think about the biggest tragedies in life. But I'm here to tell you that adversity isn't only what happens to us. Sometimes adversity is carrying responsibilities no one else sees. Moms, you know what that's like. Sometimes it's making impossible decisions. Sometimes it's leading while your own heart is breaking. Sometimes it's choosing to keep showing up when quitting would be so much easier. Adversity taught me that resilience isn't something we're born with. It's something we build. One hard day, one difficult decision, one impossible season at a time. My life is built on impossibilities. And if you're a faith believing person and you are familiar with the Bible, you know, it talks about impossibilities and that God works in the impossibilities. And I like to share a little bit about my life, and it is an impossibility. My life started out as I was born to an unwed mother who was 15 years old. She didn't know who my father was at the time. And when my grandmother found out that she was pregnant, I was born a few weeks later. That started off already at a life of adversity. My mother hadn't graduated high school yet. There was no family home there. There was nothing to look up to. I was in a life that was just unstable for my whole life. When I was 12 years old, my mother and I were living in a little camper behind a bar because she worked in that bar, and she took off with a man and she never came back. So when I think about the time of being homeless, and I talk about homeless to PhD, if you guys, some of you out there have heard my story before, that wasn't the first time I was homeless. I was homeless as a child. We lived in a car when I was really small. But this was the time, because I was 12 years old, I had a little bit of an understanding. This was the time that actually probably set some hard times in my life that I took with me as I grew into adolescence and young adulthood. And that was some of the trauma that I had to heal from. So she left me in a bar when I was 12. She never came back. I ended up with my grandmother. I watched my mother, suffer with alcoholism and substance use and untreated mental illness. And my mother has never been a positive light in my life. When I was 16 years old, I chose again then to be homeless. I left, and I think it was probably a mutual agreement that I leave, and I wanted to leave. And I was on the streets at 16. And honestly, when I think back and look at that, that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because it was better than living underneath that environment and watching that environment. But it also, man, that's a lot. If you can imagine a young person being in the streets, we see homeless people now, right here in our own communities. But, I was out there in the streets. It was fine. I found community resources to eat on. I couch surfed a lot. Didn't have an education. I was kicked out of school in 11th grade. But I quickly realized that if I was going to do something, I had to make a decision on making a better life. So I went ahead and went back to school. They had at the homeless shelter where I would eat once a week, they had classes for your GED. And so I said, I'm going to take classes. I'm going to get my GED. I actually graduated, took the GED test at the same time that my graduating class was graduating. And then the people that were teaching the classes immediately said, you're smart. You should go on to college. There's opportunities for people like me to go to college. And it was a Pell Grant. And so I started and enrolled in my first class. The first few classes were great and fine. I didn't have any problems. But one thing about being homeless is you don't have a stable environment. And so stable environments or unstable environments in college don't really work out so well. So that first opportunity to get an education failed, and I lost the opportunity for a Pell Grant. But I quickly learned that I needed to keep moving forward. And as I continued to grow and got older and got jobs and was able to have a little bit more stability, I started taking one class at a time here and there, and ended up with an opportunity to go to college right here in our community at the University of Tulsa. I remember I went for an interview and I was thinking, they're never going to let someone like me go to school at the University of Tulsa. And I went in for an interview, and the not the president, but the dean of the school said, I see you have an opportunity to do this. We just need to raise your scores on a couple of these classes. And so what I heard was, you can go to the University of Tulsa. So that's all I heard. That's all I needed, was someone like me can go to the University of Tulsa. And what I did is I went back and I retook those classes, got A's, reapplied, I was accepted, and I graduated from the University of Tulsa in 2009. That was the first time. One of the things with growth and healing in the education piece is something I took with me was I never felt good enough. That was part of my trauma. I never felt like I was good enough. I never felt like I could be enough, because I had that hole in my spirit and my heart that was lacking love. I needed love and I wanted love. So when I was out in the streets, I wasn't into drugs. That wasn't what I wanted or what I desired, because I've seen that, I had access to all the drugs I wanted from the time I was an infant till, 16 years old when I left that environment. So that wasn't what I needed. I needed love. And when, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I needed love. And so as I needed to fill that hole. And one of those things was, if I continue my education, if I do all these things, and if I collect all these nuggets and bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate degree, I'll be that person. I'll be the person that someone loves. And through therapy, I found out that was unhealed trauma from abandonment. And when your mother, the person that's supposed to be that nurturing side of you, doesn't feel that for you, you have the desire to try to do something, to find that in other areas. So when I realized that I didn't have to do all those things, and I didn't have to do that to be a better person. I learned that the stuff that I've learned and those education, those tiles on my wall, those degrees on the wall, yes, they're amazing and they mean all the things. But what they do now for me is serve the purpose of, if I can achieve these things, then anyone else out there can achieve those things. And when I realized that what my purpose was going to be and finding my purpose was in that. So my purpose is to share this story about my life and to share that with people in our community across the world, whoever I could help. And I always would say, when I would be praying about what am I doing with my life? Why did I have to suffer like this? Why did I have to go through all these things? But it's just to help the one person. And if it's only one person, guess what? Everything that happened to me, everything that I did, everything that I went through was not in vain. And so there you have that. That's the short version of becoming Dr. Martindale in the 30, 45-minute presentation that I get. Trust me, there's a whole lot more and I could talk about it forever. But I just wanted to give you a little bit about me and how I got to where I am, and to let you know that, our hardest chapters become those pages that we can help other people survive. And I want to say one thing about healing and growth and therapy. Sometimes I've heard people say, like in faith, let God handle it. Let God deal with it. He can heal you. He can do the things. But please hear me say that there's room for both your spiritual side, your faith-filled side. There's room for Jesus and there's room for therapy. And I can tell you, because it worked for me. Yes, my faith side helped me tremendously in all the things and to be the person I am today. And also, I had to have therapy to understand each little piece and my behaviors and the things that set me off on the trajectory that I was going on, or things that held me back, that didn't allow me to do the things. If I acted like I did 10 or 15 years ago, I would never be on this Zoom presenting to you guys, because I had a bad attitude and I had to heal from those kinds of things. And so don't get stuck with one or the other. There's room for all of it. There's room for all the things to help you get better. Let's see. Adversity doesn't automatically make us stronger. What we choose to do with adversity does. We all know those people who may have had the same situation. They had the same adversity or whatever. One chose a path of, being negative and bitter and that kind of stuff. And then we see other people who take the path of compassion and being better. And so what I hope that people see, and what we see in also what I see with sharing my story, is that we can take the path to share our story and make it not be something that causes you to be bitter or angry, but something that can make you better and move forward. Women, ladies, the invisible load. Emotional labor, it tasks us. There are tasks and situations. There's an emotional piece that is invisible, and it takes a toll on our mind and our body. Being a leader it's not just what other people see outside. It's all the other things behind the scenes. The mental load, that background clock, the leading, even when we just want to be a regular person, but knowing that other people are watching. And we always have to be the bigger person, even when, I'm sorry, but we want to slap somebody or punch them out, right? Maybe that's just me. But we have to be the bigger person. We always have to be the bigger person. Some of us are leading men who don't like to be led by women. And that's an invisible load that we don't talk about. Nobody sits around and talks about that. Sometimes we have lots of other struggles that are going on that we don't talk about. Invisible responsibilities, the schedule, the mood, the meals, the deadlines, and then everyone's feelings about it all. And that 24-hour clock. Because as a leader, you don't get to turn things off and turn things on when you desire to just sit down and rest. You're always on. You're always on the clock. A lot of us are in a sandwich generation. We're caring for parents, children, careers, community. And then somebody always needs us for something. We're always somebody's emergency contact. And I'm not talking about the family members, I'm my husband's emergency contact. Some of my family members' emergency contact. I'm the caretaker and oversee my grandparents. and their estate and their life and all those kinds of things. I'm talking about the leadership piece. Who gets a call at 2 o'clock in the morning? If Kim Williams is on here, I'm pretty sure the power goes out in some area here. Guess who's getting a phone call? Joy Sloan. I know there's a crisis in the community. There's a crisis at the agency. Guess who's getting a call? I'm talking about those kinds of things. Or even just every day in your office, you have a team and you're the emergency contact. Everything's a crisis when they come to your door. I need help with this thing. I need this. I need that. And when we have that daily list of all the things that we have to get done, and then we have these little fires that pop up everywhere that we also have to do. I'm talking about those kinds of things, those emergencies. We carry a lot. We care for our aging parents. We care for spouses, children, community, caregiving, decision fatigue, volunteering, participating in all the things. What I want you to hear when it comes to aging parents and your family and things like that is grace over guilt. I take care of my grandparents. They're aging and older, and they need a lot of care and help. They do have home health and services like that, but they can't drive to Tulsa. They can maybe drive around locally in the community, but they can't do long distance driving. They're both on oxygen. They can't go anywhere, not even 2 steps without oxygen. And so sometimes, I'm the one that takes them to their doctor's appointments, and I have to schedule that and I have to take the time off. Or sometimes they're just lonely and they want me to come out there and sit with them. And I sit here and think, I don't have time. And do I feel guilty about that? I do feel guilty. But here's one of those things where I'm going to give you permission. Don't feel guilty. Give yourself grace and utilize your resources. We all have those friends around us and those people that can come and step in. When one of my dear friends, her father was dying, like I made it a part of my schedule. Like I'm taking a shift one day during the week. I would take off work, or I would work from home and sit with him or take him to a doctor's appointment or whatever I needed to do. But that's what we do as our friends. If we're truly friends to our friends, these are where we can help and step in. There's a friend of mine that lives out by my grandmother, and I always tell them, if there's a day, she says, how can I help you? And I said, you know what, how about if I give you some money, can you go get some lunch and just go out there and sit with them for a little while and just talk to them, just hang out with them? And that kind of stuff goes so far with them. They love that. They're like, oh, I'm so glad so-and-so came over to see me. And that gives me the opportunity to continue doing the things that I have to do and not feel as guilty. But give yourself grace. You cannot do all the things. And remember that everything so far in your life has worked out like it's supposed to. So don't get caught up in, if I don't do this, and if I don't do that, and if I don't do this. Take time for what you think and feel that you need to do at that moment. And if you can't do it, utilize your resources and those people around you. Use your people. Go sit with your best friend's mom. Sorry, that's Carolyn. She's go and use a friend, a neighbor, or maybe have someone take over if you don't want them to go with your family or something like that, have them do something for you at work, and then go and be with your family member or whoever. But what I want you to hear from me is don't be or feel guilty about not always being there for all the things that they need. What I want you to hear is utilize your resources that you have available to you. Signs you're running on empty. Burnout is not weakness. So burnout is a sign that you need to take a break, make some changes. I remember a time in my job that I had this job that I just knew I was going to retire from. I knew that I was going to spend the rest of my career there. That's where I was going to be. I loved it. I had so much time already built into that position, and that's where I was going to retire from. What happened is I started getting burnout. I signed up for all the overtime shifts. I didn't take vacation, or if I requested vacation, it wasn't available because we were short staffed or those kinds of things. And slowly over time, I started getting burnout. And what happened was I started becoming very angry and very bitter. I was rebellious. So leadership would ask to do things. I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen. And I became one of those people that, I was grouchy and negative and nobody wanted to work with me. And I don't blame them because it was just horrible. And one day I was in a meeting and I was sitting and people were talking around me and I was just listening. I just thought, I'm sick of hearing people talk. I'm sick of hearing this meeting. And I started dazing off and looking out the window, and I was looking at this beautiful view of the woods and stuff in the background. And I remember saying, I have got to leave here. It's time for me to go. And that's what I did. I left. It was one of the most difficult decisions of my life. But, 20 years later, I can sit here and say it was probably the best decision I made, because it led me to where I am today and to what I'm doing. But I had to let go, and I had to realize that it's no longer working for me. It's no longer fitting for me. And I had to have enough faith that whatever I do outside of this, it's going to be different. It's not what I planned. It's not what I expected to do, but I have to know that it's going to be okay, because I'm going to be a better person after this. I grieved. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I just started doing something. And that's what I did. And each little step led me to the next step, and then led me to the next step, which ultimately led me to here I am today. Let burnout be your stepping stone to looking at things differently and determining what you are doing still brings you fulfillment and joy. When you start to hear or start to feel those times that you're not happy anymore and you're just that negative, bitter person, that might be, we know those people, we work with those people, we see those people, we try to tell them, hey, maybe you need to take a break, or maybe you need to step aside and do something different for a while. So what I'm asking you as leader is to not be that person. You take the break and you move forward. Boundaries. Oh, boundaries, asking for help. Boundaries are leadership. Take the time to step aside for some time, even if it's 30 minutes to an hour a day. Or maybe you need to take a 3-day sabbatical with no people and no appointments and no schedule and no calendars. Maybe not even your phone if you're brave enough. But take time to be in nature. You need it, and you will be more productive as a leader. I see people that I work with every day take this opportunity. I'll see one of my friends when she comes to work in the morning, like she sits in the parking lot for 15, 20 minutes before it's time for her to come in. And she says that that's her decompression and get ready time. She is spending time lifting herself up mentally and, getting ready for the day so she can be her best self when she gets here. We are lucky enough to have a gym right on site. So if I feel like I need to take a break, like I can walk across the parking lot, I can go to the gym, I can get on the treadmill and walk a few minutes and kind of zone out and come back in for a reset if I need to. Sometimes we need a little bit more than that. Take your PTO. Now that I have learned that burnout is real and it can affect you long term, I'm one of those people who will take my PTO and I utilize it. I go on trips. I go out and be in nature. I go and spend time completely away from the environment. Sometimes I do it on a weekly basis. I'll take half a day on a Friday or all day on a Friday, and you might find me on the golf course. And, hitting balls is great opportunity to rebuild that self-esteem and that motivation if I hit the ball. But you need time to reset. And that makes you a better leader when you're able to take some time for yourself, recharge your batteries, re-energize, let your resources and let other people take care of the things that they need to take care of. That to-do list is going to still be there when you get back from doing whatever you need to do. But take time for you, because I guarantee you when you come back from that, you're going to be a better leader. You're going to be able to perform better when you come back from those times of reset and relaxation, or your 3-day sabbatical, whatever you need to do. I'm giving you permission. Go do the things. Ask for help. Please don't be afraid to ask for help. I always look on social media and things like that, and people are always saying, let me know if you need anything, or can I do something for you? And here's what I'm going to tell you. Utilize those people. They are not serious. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that says that and means it. I hope that's not the case, but utilize that. When someone says, how can I help you? Let them do something for you. Hey, can we go to coffee one afternoon? Can you take lunch to my grandparents? Can you do this? But whatever it is, take the load off, give it to somebody else. They're offering. Don't let them miss their blessing by you not utilizing when people reach out and ask how they can help you. Because we all want to be, oh, it's okay, I got it, no worries, I can handle it. But can you? Yeah, you can handle it for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to start weighing on you, and it's going to start affecting who you are as a person. It's going to start affecting that example that you're demonstrating out to the community and the people that need to hear and see you as that leader. One of my things that I'm still working on, because I'm still a work in progress, is letting go of perfection. Because perfection to me is what I get in perfectionism paralysis or something like that, where if it's not perfect, I can't do it. And I just have to remember when I was doing my doctorate degree, I was writing my 365-page dissertation, and my committee was saying things like, Angela, just get it done, just get it done. I'm like, but it's not, I feel like it needs to be more and it needs to be better. There I go with that. I got to be better situation. They're like, no, just a done dissertation is a great dissertation. And I had to learn that mindset that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So get the things done. You're always going to be a work in progress. Nothing is perfect. We're not ever going to reach perfectionism. But if we strive for perfectionism, a healthy strive for perfectionism, we can be among the stars and the leaders where, we can fall in those high areas. But just don't get caught up in that, like me, where I can't do anything because it's not going to be perfect. Just get the things done and then work on it. And what I like to utilize now is I'll get something done and I'll send it to my trusted resources out in the community and say, tell me what needs to be fixed. When we did our community assessment here recently, it was finished and written up, and I sent it to like 4 different people. And I said, I need your feedback. Tell me what I need to do, and let other people help you make things more perfect or better. Laugh often. So I think about laughing. Listen, if you know me, you guys know that I love cheesy, dumb dad jokes, and they're my favorite thing. And I love it even more when I'm telling it to my husband and I'm recording it, or anybody else who falls victim to my jokes. But I just love it. It's funny. It's funny to watch people's reaction to laughing. It's funny to watch people react to my own laugh, because apparently it's loud and maniacal and hilarious. And okay, that's fine. But I love it. And I love to laugh at cheesy cat videos and dog videos. But whatever you think helps you make you laugh, please, please, please take the opportunity to laugh, because we're all better and more fun when we're laughing. We don't like to hang around those people that are just, stiff and can't take a joke and are just, so hard to be around. So don't you be that person either. Take a joke, laugh, lighten up, shake it off a little bit and just enjoy the moment. Um, Practice gratitude. One of the things that I like to do every morning, just when I left this morning coming to work, I'm like, thank you, Lord, for my house. And as I'm driving off, I'm looking at the house. Thank you, Lord, for, air conditioning and my home and a beautiful yard that my husband loves to manicure, a roof over my head and all the things. Thank you for my health. Thank you that I can do the things that I do. But gratitude, if we practice gratitude every day, how much of a better mentality or mindset are we in when we can appreciate the things that we get to do every day, or the things that we participate every day? Like me participating today, I'm absolutely grateful to, the chamber for inviting me for this. I'm honored to do that. And when we're in that grateful place, we receive more things, and we can see the things that we can be more grateful for around us. So be grateful, practice gratitude. There's so many opportunities and apps and books and notes and all the things out there to get your a gratitude list. Simple ones are every day, in the morning when you wake up and get ready to go, say 3 things that you're grateful for. And then at the end of the day, go back and reflect about your day and think about ways that you can be grateful for the day. And I'm going to go back to giving yourself grace, because grace is, we all need grace, and you want grace given to you whenever you're experiencing something. And so let's practice giving our own selves grace and then each other grace. That's leadership. Leading with purpose. So what's your legacy? What kind of leader do you want to be? What will you leave for this next generation, for the people that are coming up behind us, for the people who will see us as we journey through this life? I'll tell you that a leadership book didn't teach me resilience. Adversity did. A seminar didn't teach me empathy. Heartbreak did. There isn't a promotion that taught me courage. It was the days that I wanted to quit, but I didn't. I just showed up. I just showed up and I did something. Even the days that I think, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this next day is going to bring. I just showed up. I showed up every day. Here recently, I had a pretty traumatic, over the past few years, I had a traumatic experience and I went through a dark time again, and I had to utilize some of the strength and resilience that I had learned previously in my life to get through this more recent tragedy in my life. And that's what I did. Some days, every day, I just showed up. Like I didn't know how I was going to make it, but I showed up and I did the things. And every day it got easier and it got better. And sometimes that's all we can do is just show up. And that's okay. That's leadership. People see us. People see us show up. It takes courage and it takes authenticity. People want to see authenticity. So is that the type of leader that you are? Are you demonstrating the realness, what reality is of how life is and what it means to be a leader? Kindness. Man, kindness can go a long way, can it? Sometimes I see people all the time, every day, we all do, I know, of how just one little thing can change if you just are kind about it. A simple conversation, a doctor's visit. When I took my grandma to the doctor one time, I thought about this morning, how, she kind of got a little edgy or a little not so kind. And, I just said, well, we're going to be kind about this and we're going to do this. And immediately she just kind of thought, I do need to be nice. I didn't realize I was being so hateful. And it's our doctor. And then the rest of the visit was so much better than it was when we first started out. Just simple kindness goes a long way. And guess what? The people around us, the people in our community, the people that we are engaged with every single day, they need that. They need to see us as leaders and women doing things above and beyond every normal day activity, that we can also be kind. So I want you to understand that kindness goes a long way. And of course, that's nothing that y'all haven't heard already. It's the practicing and doing it. I want you to know that your story and my story isn't disqualified because it has difficult chapters. In fact, our greatest pain may become our greatest purpose. The world doesn't need more perfect women, because guess what? There's not such a thing. What it does need is it needs more courageous women. The world needs women willing to lead, women who are willing to heal. And I'm going to stay here for just a minute on women willing to heal. So each one of us know we've gone through something. And we can be on the other side of that, or maybe we're going through it right now, but eventually we're going to be on the other side of that. And when people around us see that we can heal and get through things and be on the other side of that and see what that looks like, and that we're a better person because of it, it's going to give them the opportunity and permission to do the same thing, that they can heal as well. And that mental wellness, that's mental wellness for each of us. Every day, mental wellness, heal, take the time to heal. The world needs women who are willing to stand back up after adversity. Someone is watching your life and is believing that if you can make it, maybe they can too. I hope that if there's any questions right now is the time to write those in the chat box. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and do that. I also want to leave you with this, that you don't have to do it all alone. Each and every one of us have people around us who are the people that we want to share things with, that we can let loose with, that we can count on for times that we just need to say the things and, just let it all, let me tell you how I really feel about this. When we can let those guards down and not have to have the leader role on, but we can have let me be real for a second and let me let it out and let me feel what I need to feel. Have those people around you. Hopefully you have those. And if you don't, please know that there's resources out there for you. There are people I know a whole bunch of people that are really, really good at doing therapy and all the things. So if you need to just reach out to me, please reach out to me. I bet you I can find you the people that you need. And I can also be that person. That's a friend. If you need someone to talk to, I will meet you somewhere. We can sit and talk. Like, I'll listen all day long. And, you know, all I can do is give you examples of what I've been through and what's happened in my life and what things that I've done to make myself who I am today or make myself better or become a better person. I can share that stuff with you. But what I'm saying is you don't have to do it all alone. And utilize the resources around you, utilize the people that we have. We have great resources in this community. There's a great body of women around that are great, amazing leaders. And, you know, I look up to them. I have lots of sheroes in this community, and I hope that you have yours. And please, if you have questions, let me know. And I am so grateful that you all let me spend this morning with you. I hope it was helpful. I hope someone is taking something away from this. And I think that's all that I have today. There's how you can reach me. I'm also on just about every social media platform. I will stop sharing my screen. And what do we got over there, team?
Just me being able to say thank you, Angela.
Thank,
And personally, I'm glad that you keep showing up. And I'm also thankful that your steps led you to Green Country, really to me. So thank you.
thank
Thank you
you.
to our sponsors once again, all of our sponsors. We can't thank you enough. And everyone, be sure to join us tomorrow here on Zoom at 10 a.m. for Dr. Jaden Crouch. Be sure to follow the Women's Leadership Facebook page to see daily recognition of local women, information on this week's networking events and giveaways. And for a full rundown of the week's events, visit muskogeechamber.org. Just a reminder, the speaker sessions are being recorded. If you'd like to catch up on a speaker you missed or rewatch today's session, visit the link provided in your email for today's session. Guess what, kids? It's prize time. Today's giveaway is a gift card to House of Color Muskogee for a color analysis to see what season you are. Spin the wheel. Okay, we have a winner, Janet Bowen. Janet Bowen is the winner today of the House of Color gift card. So the chamber will be contacting you, Janet. Congratulations. And thank you all. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.